Hey, what's up, everyone? So, Yamuna here from Jivanam, Ayurveda, and Wellness, and I'm here to help you live life on purpose. Today, we're going to be jumping into another episode of the Embodied Manhood series. While I think this episode is applicable for practically anyone who's looking for a partner, I'm gearing this more towards men. So, today's topic is finding and attracting the woman of your dreams through embodied manhood. So obviously this is something that many people struggle with. And I think more so in the sort of conscious realm where a man is not just in the sort of hookup mentality, but wants something more substantial and just doesn't know where to go, where to find that person, or how to attract this person in the right way. Because we're getting so many mixed messages of really cheap ways to attract a partner. And obviously we want something substantial. I can get into that in a later video. Also, how ultimately, even if you are looking for just pleasure, that the traditional way of building a substantial relationship with someone and commitment is ultimately going to be the epitome of your ability to get that desire met. So anyways, let's jump in. I want to start with just the cheap ways of attracting a partner. We are all familiar with this. The first one I'll just mention here is spitting game, right? So basically, it's understanding the game of psychology that a woman possesses and utilizing that to your advantage without necessarily even needing the sort of character or qualities that will last beyond that initial attraction phase. So really what I mean here is understanding what attracts a woman, mostly things like status, confidence, etc., charisma, charm, without possessing the real values or character necessary for the attraction to last beyond that initial hookup. Okay, so that's obviously the first category, and you can do this. It's sort of a way of just playing on someone's psychology, and if it works and you don't actually have these character values or real virtues to you, then you're going to be attracting a mate of equal or lesser character. So the opposite of that spitting game kind of asshole mentality is being the nice guy, really. I think this is a very broad way of putting it, but basically putting a woman on a pedestal, making her the sort of center of your world, just complimenting, agreeing with, and basically worshiping her in every way possible. And so there's nothing inherently wrong, obviously, with some of those things, but I think that being the nice guy can be just as disingenuous as being the sort of lower quality dude that's just trying to spit game and play the game of, work in a psychology of a woman. Because nice is not a value. It's not a character trait, right? Nice is when you're a child and, your mom doesn't like what you're doing. She tells you to be nice. And basically it's a way that you conform your behavior because it's not acceptable to another person so that they're happy, and it's at the expense of your own authentic expression and character. And so while this may be, somewhat of an overextension, I do think that this plays out in the nice guy mentality, that you just want to be liked by this person so badly, and you're absorbed in a sort of attraction and an emotional way with this person that puts them on a pedestal and worships them, that you just be the nice guy at the expense of authenticity, which includes the dynamic range of interactions, like disagreements, like dynamic arguments, like having your own stance, having your own world to invite a woman into instead of just becoming absorbed completely in their world, right? So, we can see how obviously that won't really provide a high quality interaction, because you're gaining someone's favor at the cost of suppressing a real dynamic connection. So that can turn obviously into shifting your ideals, opinions, and behaviors just to remain liked by this person on a subtle level. Okay, so that gets old really quick and won't really last for having the level of relationship that you want. So let's jump into what I see as the components of real authentic attraction, real embodied attraction, because obviously both of those things, spitting game, the kind of stereotypical male way of picking up girls, and then the sort of new age way of being the nice guy, obviously are not the most dynamic ways to go about this. So the components of real attraction, just to lay it out, I know I mentioned this already, but one of the most important things is becoming embodied by developing your own authentic status. And unlike the guy who spits game, who inflates his status while his virtue and character is not actually at that level, you want to reach an authentic level of status for your own self in order to attract the woman of your dreams. And so biologically, men are wired for quantity of partners, right? A man can have many, many mates, have hundreds of children if he wanted, while a woman is super limited. And so a woman's psychology and physiology is very limited in the quantity of children that she can produce, and therefore the number of partners. So her psychology on a more biological level, of course, there's much more to us than just our biology, but it's linked very much so with quality over quantity. Okay, and that quality is exhibited, or at least a woman will recognize quality through different means of authentic status. And that authentic status can look like just some externals, like physical strength, having a nice body, nice build, which, is nice for protecting and providing for and creating offspring. Popularity, money, all these sort of external things. And then also internals like character, like position, like charisma, leadership, intelligence, ability to communicate and be authentic and have a good sense of self-expression. So those are all ways that we can really understand authentic status. And to the degree that we're committed to building that authentic status, first of all, for ourselves, it will radiate out into all the relationships that we try to build. So I know this idea may seem more along a traditional point of view of like, you got to build yourself as a man, with strength or popularity or money or whatever, so that you can provide for a woman's needs. But just thinking about it from a very logical perspective, would a woman, or really anyone for that matter, rather be with a man with way less resources? And by resources, I mean the internal resources that one may possess, like I mentioned, authenticity, communication, etc., and the external resources of money, power, strength, etc. Would a woman rather be with someone who has way less resources or with someone with way more resources? Like, which one of those just psychologically says, oh, or signals, oh, this person can really take care of me on all levels? That's what someone wants to feel when they meet you. This person can care for me mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually, right? And not from like a complete dependence standpoint, but rather like, yeah, this person is going to make my life overflow in all of those categories and really going to add value. Because another point I want to get on here is a relationship is like a collaboration on life. It's like a collaboration on tag teaming life together. And when I think about any collaboration, whether that be, with relationships or, even just in a business sense, collaborations only make sense if everybody gets more than what they got on their own, right? So understand that you have to develop yourself in such a way that your potential partner feels like, I'm going to get way more out of life by being with this person than by not being with this person. And you should feel the same about being with that other person, right? Everybody's getting more. Okay, so another and I think this is probably the most important point that I'm going to make here about components of real authentic attraction, is asking yourself the question of, who do I have to be in order to attract and care for the woman of my dreams? Okay? Who do I have to be in my health, in my career, in my other relationships, in my spiritual or self-connection, in my sense of purpose, in my own personal development? Who do I have to be in order to attract and care for the woman of my dreams on all those levels that I want to care for her by? And so this is not meant to make us be inauthentic of like, I have to be somebody that I'm not and present myself. That's not what I'm saying at all. But rather, there's already your ideal self that you want to access, that you would feel proud presenting to the woman of your dreams. That's already a part of you. And accessing that part of you on a more full level is going to be the most important component of developing real radiance and real embodiment and real attractive qualities. And what I want to say is, without even having a partner, this is essential to start living like this right now. Start living like the man you want to be for your dream woman right now. And I think it's essential to set a period of time without looking for any woman, right? Without like scrolling and like contemplating, oh, maybe this is a woman, maybe this is a woman, maybe this is a woman. Without contemplating any of that, just setting a period of time where you meet those standards for yourself. Right. So for me, that looked like reaching a certain level of financial savings in my business. I actually had an opportunity to be with a wonderful woman, and I had to contemplate, am I ready to, support somebody wonderful on all these different levels? And I was like, you know what? I want to take at least the next 6 months to just be strictly single, not even contemplating who my partner is, and just set these high goals for myself so that I can be the man I want to show up for the woman of my dreams. And so I set particular spiritual goals, financial goals, intellectual goals, and health goals that were really amazing goals for me. So I highly, highly encourage you to do the same, because practically speaking, as soon as I met all those goals, literally the next week, my current fiance just kind of walked right into my life. And I was supercharged with the living my life on purpose. And that living of my own life on purpose is what radiantly sort of attracted somebody else to enter my sphere. Like I became ready for the a woman of my dreams to enter my life. Okay, so basically become the man that your dream woman would admire. Okay, and set that time for yourself to just develop yourself, basically, and become radiant. Okay, and then the last thing I'll say here about developing real attraction is clarity is super attractive. So if you really just understand what you're seeking from a relationship, that's going to be super attractive, right? When you meet somebody who knows what they want out of life, who knows what they want from themselves, who knows what they want out of a partner, it's super attractive, that clarity. Like it immediately signals that you have contemplated this and thus agreed to a much higher standard of relationship than the average dude is going to provide them, because you're actually thinking about these important things and ideals. And it's just important for you yourself. Like maybe you think that you want something that you really don't want in a relationship. maybe you need to be wanting something that you're not aware of yet that would really fulfill you. So that's an important component too. All right. So let's move on just to the ideal partner and how to find that person. First of all, how to specify what type of person that is, and then actually, practically speaking, how to find this person. Okay, so the first thing I want you to really reflect on is, what are your preferences about this person, your dream woman, versus non-negotiables, right? Like, obviously, most people just want like a home run in every single category. But like I said earlier, are you the man that home run in every single category would look up to? Maybe you are. I know when I was desiring that at first, I wasn't the man. I just wanted that for me, but wasn't really thinking of the collaborative aspect of everybody getting more. So you have to clarify, what are the preferences that you have versus what are just like the core non-negotiable parts of this person that are super important for you, right? And I think what's important is to go a little bit beyond the externals and really look at this person's character, right? Like, are they thoughtful? Are they caring? Are they compassionate? Are they, dedicated in some way to something that's super meaningful to you? So those things are going to be much more substantial than maybe just their externals of what they have going on in their life, or maybe they're struggling with something right now. But you can always tell where someone's heart is. Okay. And then the last thing I'll mention here is values. So when it comes to your health, when it comes to money, when it comes to purpose, when it comes to spirituality and self-realization, and when it comes to relationships, what are your values? First of all, finding those for yourself. And, what are the values? Are they in alignment? Because ultimately, the most satisfaction you're going to get from a collaboration or a partnership, whether it be short-term, long-term, marriage, whatever it is when your values actually align. Because it's going to give you more than just pleasure. It's going to give you fulfillment on a deeper level. Okay, now last section is, how the hell do you find this person, right? There's so many apps where you can just swipe forever, and other people are swiping forever. Some of them are just looking for hookups. Many of them are. And the first thing I'll say is, stop looking in low quality spaces for high quality partner, right? Like, if you're like, man, I just can't find like the dream girl that I'm looking for, and you're like going to bars and clubs and, EDM festivals and swiping on Tinder and, whatever it is, some hookup apps, and you're really honestly looking for a high quality partner who can meet you where you're at with your living life on purpose, you have to stop looking in those spaces. So unfortunately, a lot of the spaces designed for young people to connect with partners have really just become a low quality arena of hookup. So I'm going to speak about that in a second. But the way to solve that is really to ask yourself, first of all, getting clarity on who the dream woman is and what she's like and what her values are. And then asking yourself this super important question: where are the spaces that a woman with these standards, with these qualities, with these values would hang out? Right? Like, if she has super high standards of health and fitness and mental well-being and whatever, where are the places that type of woman would hang out? Okay, probably at wellness events, probably, doing some sort of meditation or yoga, or, in a running club or whatever. So you can join those things, and there's plenty of events like that. Or if, she's more in the intellectual sphere or more in the conservative sphere, then obviously a woman in a spiritual tradition is going to have maybe more conservative family values, where they hold spirituality, where they hold commitment, where they hold having children, etc., all in a much higher regard than the average woman will. And so you can search in spiritual communities, right? So anyways, the concept is, where are the women who have these ideals and character like the woman of my dreams does? Where are they hanging out? Okay. And then the last thing I'll say, which I just wanted to throw in for good measure, is don't underestimate the matchmaker. Okay. So I know that this is maybe super antiquated at this point, or traditional, but even if it's not in a sort of like, going to like the family priest or family guru and asking, hey, do you have some wonderful Christian girl or some wonderful, whatever it is that I can be with, that I can marry, and you can have an arranged marriage and never meet your wife until the day of your wedding. That's not exactly what I'm talking about, although I don't find that inherently wrong. But rather going to the people in your life that you really look up to, admire, and trust, and asking who they know. Saying, hey, you know what? I'm really serious about this. I'm becoming a man a man of action, a man of integrity. I've built myself in such a way to care for a person seriously. And I want to know, who do you know that is wonderful and that could be a great match for me, right? So it's actually could be intimidating or maybe some embarrassment or whatever, but it's actually super admirable. And a woman will find it attractive that you valued trying to find a partner of high quality so much that you went through a person she really trusts to set up a meeting or a date or whatever connection that you built. Okay, so hope that this was super helpful for you. I know that learning these principles from guys that I looked up to was game changing for me, because I know how hard it can be when the mind is just going everywhere, like, hey, who's my partner going to be? And especially if you have higher standards of living and consciousness and values, then it can be super, super frustrating. So again, avoid the kind of pitfalls of cheap ways of attracting a partner. Actually embody the real components of attraction, like becoming embodied by authentic status, seeing relationship as a collaboration where everybody gets more, building yourself in such a way that you would be admired by the woman of your dreams, and asking yourself that question, who do I need to be? And starting to live like that now. And then getting real clear on your partner, and then going out and actually putting yourself in a space where those women are hanging out. All right. So be sure to share this, like it, comment, subscribe, all the things to share this goodness with others if you found it helpful. All right. Thank you guys, and take care. I'll see you on the next episode.